Joe, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? Pure, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Evening. Scott, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Evening. Billo, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Kamal, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? Hyper Sniper, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? XRP news today? Yes. Towards the end of the live, we're going to go through XRP news. XRP is moving again, mainly because the date for Brad's essentially 60-minute interview was released today by Brad himself, which is excellent news, to be fairly honest. A lot of things been happening today in the world. A lot of things. Good day, Miles. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you, brother. How you been? How you doing today, Miles? I'm doing great, Scott. How you doing? Artistic Creations. Hi, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles and CMF family. Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? Scott, let's go. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Denise, good to see you. How you doing? Hi, Miles. Tell us some good news. Let's go. G. We got a lot of news to actually go through on tonight's live. A lot of things are happening in terms of the political space when it comes to crypto. Hulo is at 0.0036. Good to buy now or wait for a drop, and will it drop? If it's up right now, then never buy anything that's on essentially on a green candle. But if it's down, then sure, why not? But it is relatively cheap. I mean, Hulo is going to be estimated at $1 essentially 2025. So it's a good buy now, I'll be honest. Good evening, Professor Miles and the rest of the CMF family. Good to see you. How you doing, funky brother? HBAR smashing it today. Yes, it is. XDC is also smashing it today as well. XDC started to show signs of movements. And, XRP, XLM, and HBAR have been showing signs of movements for about a week now. XDC hasn't been showing any sort of movements until today. It's been moving a lot more better, to be fairly honest. Let's go XRP on me. Let's go Mike, and let's go XDC climbing. Yes. Now, the financial projects are starting to show more signs, which is great as we're getting closer and closer to 2025. So let's go through the topics of what we're going to be discussing on tonight's episode of the CMF Live. A mixture of topics to go through on tonight's live. A lot of things are happening around the world. So the topics that we're going to be discussing on tonight's episode 218 of the CMF Live, which is incredible. We're going to be discussing regarding Trump, on the matters of Trump and the New York Fed, essentially New York Fed ex-president in terms of the Fed. We're going to be going through his perspectives on Trump essentially signing Bitcoin essentially and his new pick, David Sachs. Then we're going to be talking about Michael Saylor in terms of his new predictions on the market space moving forward. Then we're going to be talking about Florida on tonight's live. Florida is actually getting prepared for an early 2025 Bitcoin reserve asset strategy. We're also going to be talking about the U.S. jobs data points that have just came out, and it's a report from Grayscale on what's going to be happening inside the market space moving forward in terms of crypto assets as well. We're also going to be talking about the two senior Federal Reserve officials making hot statements about Bitcoin and interest rate cuts. We're going to go through the news topic of the US SEC unlikely to approve Solana ETFs under current leadership. Reports have been revealed that Gary Gensler is not going to be approving any sort of ETFs right now, but obviously January 20th he's leaving, and the new SEC chairman will be approving the essentially ETFs for altcoins. We're going to also be talking about Coinbase on tonight's live. Coinbase has been going on an ongoing battle with the SEC, just like everybody else inside the crypto space. But Coinbase has revealed today that what essentially the FDIC chairman has said to the US banks to stifle crypto operations inside the United States and to actually showcase to the entire world Operation Choke Point, essentially 2.0, of how the American banks have been stifling crypto innovation only because the FDIC chairman has put pressure on them. He's released essentially the letters. So it's incredible that Coinbase is doing this. We're also going to be talking about the essentially European market space when it comes to crypto assets and Bitcoin. In terms of taxes, we're also going to talk about the US ETFs becoming the biggest Bitcoin holders beating Satoshi Nakamoto, which is incredible. We're going to be talking about the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, on tonight's live regarding banning essentially meme coins inside the United Kingdom. And it's most likely going to spread over to the EU doing the exact same thing. We're going to be talking about Hong Kong finally getting ready to introduce their stablecoin regulations. We're going to be going through the news topic of, on tonight's live, regarding the matters of BlackRock publishing their new outlook report for 2025. BlackRock has released their new essentially reports for 2025 of how the market space is going to move forward. We're going to go through that report on tonight's live. We're also going to be talking about, could Bitcoin essentially replace the dollar as a reserve currency? A perspective coming from an ex-Goldman Sachs CEO. We're going to go through the news topic of India on tonight's live. India has decided to leave BRICS, you could say, in a way, which it's something that I said, that BRICS will fall apart eventually. And it looks like India is backing away from the whole de-dollarization of BRICS. We're going to be talking about on tonight's live also regarding Ripple's CEO unveiling key dates for XRP holders and what they need to know. So, mixture of news to go from tonight's live regarding Ripple news, regarding BRICS news, regarding data reports from BlackRock, Grayscale, the Feds. A lot of things to go from tonight's live. So, the first topic we're also going to be talking about tonight's live is regarding Trump, in terms of Trump's Bitcoin reserve plan, and would it be a bad deal or a good deal, as a perspective coming from an ex-New York Fed president. But before we go through any of those news topics, I just want to say to everyone, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, the CMF stands for Crypto Mouse Family, and you can tune in into this live Monday to Friday, so today's Friday, obviously. And when I talk about the most recent things that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. And also we do Q&As on this live as well, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So welcome to the CMF Live. If you are new and if you're regular, let's go CMF. I just want to say thank you so much to everybody right now that's retweeting this live and we get notifications. Thank you so much to everyone that's retweeting this live on X, who's liking this live on X, and also putting a comment outside the video on X as well. Thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's watching right now, who's also liking the video as well. So before we go through the news, the first news topic regarding Trump and the essentially Fed, New York Fed president, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into that. Let's see where we were at. We were at here. Hello to my CMF on YouTube. I hope that you had a good day, Scott. Let's go share the live. Brother Miles and family, good to see you as well. Davey, how you doing? How you been? Hi from Malaysia, Sharika, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hulu, when you said it to me, it was at 0020 and now it's at 003. But I didn't buy it yet. It's still relatively cheap if it's going to go to that price point of $1 in 2025. Should I wait for a dropper or buy now? Small bag, focus mostly on the financial projects rather than Hulu, but it's a good find, I'll be honest. Greetings, Miles and CMF. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? So allocate the majority of your funds towards financial projects, also not financial advice, but mostly focus on the X's, XRP, XLM, XDC, and HBAR. And then if you want on the side, go for Hulu. Good evening, Miles. If they ban meme coins, more money coming into legitimate projects, which is good for us. Facts, it is. Good evening, Miles and CMF. How are you, Miles? I'm doing great. Callie, good to see you. How you doing? Hi, Miles and family. Troy, good to see you. How you doing? Let's go, CMF. Ronnie, good to see you. How you doing? You're the man, Miles. Let's go, Ronnie. How you doing, brother? How you been? So, the first news topic on tonight's live is Trump. But not Trump's opinion, an opinion that's coming on what Trump said. Trump's Bitcoin reserve plan would be a bad deal, coming from a perspective from a New York Fed, an ex-New York Fed. He's came out with his new perspective today and essentially decided to go against Trump on his Bitcoin reserve plans. Another former financial official with the United States government has expressed concerns about the president-elect Donald Trump's intentions to establish a national Bitcoin reserve while in office. On a Bloomberg, essentially, economist and former New York Federal Reserve Bank President Bill Dudley said despite Bitcoin's recent rise to more than $100,000, it was hard to essentially fathom how the US government holding cryptocurrencies will benefit the residents. Dudley said Bitcoin hardly qualifies as money, citing examples of people losing access to their crypto wallets and slow and expensive transactions. However, the former Fed president suggested that one of the reasons Bitcoiners may support policies to establish a US reserve would be to send the price soaring higher, rather than bestow benefits on non-holders, which is a ridiculous opinion to have. The New York, essentially ex-Fed president, coming out and saying that Bitcoin has no benefits for somebody that's not holding it. And for people that are holding Bitcoin, they only want Donald Trump to shout out Bitcoin so Bitcoin goes higher, and people who are holding Bitcoin benefit, is what his point of view is, which is a stupid point of view to have. Because he's saying people who don't have Bitcoin are not benefiting from this whole Donald Trump Bitcoin reserve idea, and only the people who have Bitcoin are benefiting. It's like saying, in his perspective, because it's so stupid, that some people are holding dollars and they're benefiting, but the rest of the people are poor and they're holding no money. Do you see how dumb that analogy is of his perspective? That the only reason Trump is doing this is because he's shouting out Bitcoin. People who have Bitcoin are making a lot of money. People who don't have Bitcoin don't make money. That's bad. It's the same analogy of saying somebody has a lot of money, he's making a lot of money, but somebody has no money, he's making no money. What's the point? Where's the point in this equation that he's trying to make? There is no and he's a bank official. There is no exit for him to be playing the sympathy card is the funniest part. Essentially a bank member, a Fed president playing a sympathy card of thinking about the little guy as a bank. There is no extra strategy, so the purpose ex-bank, as there is no extra strategy, so the purpose must be to push the price higher, not to create value for the government. Not to create value for the government. Crypto assets don't create value for the government, which would be stuck holding volatile tokens that produce no income, said Dudley. He also added, to fund the purchases, either the Treasury would have to borrow, driving up debt service costs, or the Federal Reserve would have to create money fueling inflation. Or they can sell the assets they already have that are useless and maybe go for this. Or maybe, here's a smarter idea. Maybe the US could stop, maybe the Biden administration can stop sending money to Ukraine in billions of dollars, and maybe use that billions of dollars that they sent to Ukraine to Zelensky for no apparent reason to buy Bitcoin. So his analogy of, oh, the US has to print more money or increase the national debt or create inflation to buy Bitcoin, or maybe just stop sending money to Ukraine and use that to buy Bitcoin. Cointelegraph reached out to Trump's team for comments, but did not receive a response at the time of publication. According to Dudley, Trump should focus on having Congress pass laws and regulations that deter fraud and abuse in crypto industries rather than setting up a Bitcoin reserve. So happy that this man is jobless and he doesn't have a title. He used to have a title, but he's jobless now. Ensure, for example, that stablecoins are fully backed by deposits at the Fed or short-dated Treasury securities. Define legislatives where tokens are currencies or securities and who regulates them. Set the rules to protect consumers and to prohibit use for criminal activities such as financing illicit activities. Trump said that at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in July that if elected, he planned to have a US government not sell any of its Bitcoins seized by authorities as a part of illicit actions, which is a smart and intelligent move. You know why? Because Germany sold their Bitcoins. And if Germany didn't sell their Bitcoins, by now, Germany would have made a profit of about roughly $2 billion. After Trump's winning the presidential elections on November 5th, Wyoming Senator, obviously Cynthia Luminis, a Trump supporter, Republican crypto advocate, said she would move forward with the legislations from the US government to buy 1 million Bitcoins and hold it for at least 20 years. Dudley is not the only former government member official to cast doubts about the plan. The former US Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers said Trump's idea was crazy, adding that to establish a Bitcoin reserve would merely be an attempt to pander to generous special interest campaign contributors. I like how the Federal Reserve is coming out. A former US Treasury Secretary is coming out and saying it's crazy to create a Bitcoin reserve to establish a foundation inside the United States, but it's not crazy to send billions of dollars to Zelensky in Ukraine. Nobody objected that idea because apparently that idea is genius to send billions of dollars to Ukraine when American people can't afford groceries. But the idea of using Bitcoin as a reserve asset or bringing in crypto regulations is crazy. Since his election victory, Trump said he intended to essentially appoint former PayPal executive David Sachs as his AI and crypto Caesar, and former essentially SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins to lead the agency after Gary Gensler. It's unclear whether either individuals, if nominated and confirmed by the Senate, would be involved in Bitcoin reserve plans. Look, Trump essentially appointing, first of all, appointing Paul Atkins, as I said previously, amazing. But also David Sachs. A lot of people asked me yesterday about David Sachs and said, is David Sachs a good person? Is he a bad person to be in charge of essentially Trump's crypto program? David Sachs is an amazing person to be in charge of the crypto program for Trump. First of all, David Sachs is a very close person to Elon Musk because he's a part of that whole PayPal crew, or some people call it the PayPal mafia. But anyways, David Sachs is a part of that group, which means he's very close with Trump and he's going to be closer with Donald Trump. The second thing is, this man, David Sachs, in the past has tweeted in favor of XRP, believe it or not. When the SEC and Gary Gensler were going, head to head with Ripple, David Sachs, at that moment in time, obviously didn't have the position he has now because of Trump, was tweeting out in favor of Ripple and XRP and against the SEC. So David Sachs being in charge of the crypto department for the US government is amazing because he's pro XRP and pro crypto assets, and he's very close with Elon Musk. Now, Michael Saylor is essentially what we're going to be talking about on tonight's live. Michael Saylor, what we're going to talk about next on tonight's live is regarding Michael Saylor, because going for the perspective from the Fed was just ridiculously and stupid. His entire opinion was stupid. But Michael Saylor, essentially, what we're going to go through now is him predicting Bitcoin's continued value increase against the dollar. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. If you're let's go through the comment section first, and then we go straight into Michael Saylor's predictions of the market space for the end of this year and essentially moving into 2025. But yeah, before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Miles is the #1 man. Let's go, Mike. I don't listen to BS news, only Crypto Miles news, only the facts. Let's go, Mike. Jasmine Coin crucial price update. Jasmine Coin price prediction 50x is what more money saying. More money spent a long time. How you been? Woodhouse, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hello, how's it going? It's going great, Woodhouse. Good to see you as well, brother. How you been? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, Miles and family. Ian, good to see you as well. How you doing? Is there any way Gensler could set something in motion just before he leaves to hurt the crypto progress? No. Gary Gensler is already doing whatever he can to hold the crypto space back by not approving any sort of ETFs. There are about 4 ETFs for XRP. There's about a few for Solana. There's a large crypto fund ETF, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and AVAX from Grayscale. That's not being accepted. So Gary Gensler, all he's doing right now is just stifling. It's the only thing he can do until January 20th. He's holding the crypto space back until January 20th and then missiles essentially upwards where the market goes ballistic. So can he essentially hurt the crypto space before he moves out? He's already hurting as much as he can. He can't hold it back any longer. Miles, where do you see XRP within the next week, sir? Where do I see XRP in the next week? Doing quite well for itself. Mainly because until next week, we're going to get the 60-minute video coming out with Brad, the CEO of Ripple, having a conversation in 60 minutes. That's going to be released on the 8th of this month, which we're going to go from tonight's live. We're going to be seeing the release of, during this month, the release of RLUSD, which is going to add some momentum to XRP as well. If it's pegged to XRP, it will have direct value to it will add direct value to XRP. If it's not pegged to XRP, it will add indirect value to XRP. Either way, it will add essentially some sort of value to XRP indirectly or directly, because if it's indirectly, it's going to be eyes on the XRP ledger. If it's directly, obviously, then it's pegged. But over time, we'll find out. But token, essentially the RLUSD being released this month and the 60-minute video coming out essentially on the 8th of this month, it's going to be help XRP do some momentum movements. Now, Michael Saylor predicts Bitcoin's continued value increase against the dollar. Michael Saylor, the chairman and co-founder of MicroStrategy, expressed these new beliefs today that Bitcoin will consistently gain value against the US dollars. In a recent interview that Michael Saylor did today, Saylor forecasted that Bitcoin, which has recently surpassed the $100,000 mark, will ultimately reach $1 million. He emphasizes that currently investors are buying Bitcoin at a substantial discount compared to its long-term price target. is the exact words I use, but for XRP. Michael Saylor going on live news talking about Bitcoin is saying that Bitcoin is sitting at a discount at $100,000 and that people should be looking into it. Is the exact same speech I use for XRP. When people tell me, is XRP, expensive to buy right now? I say, look, if you're going for long-term value, as what essentially Michael Saylor is saying for Bitcoin, if you're going for long-term value on XRP is cheap for what it is right now if you're going to go for long-term value. Saylor predicts that Bitcoin will appreciate essentially in value over the coming years, anticipating a decreasing essentially in the annual recurring revenues and essentially the ARR percentages. And he stated that Bitcoin could potentially reach $13 million per coin by 2045. So that is his new prediction. Michael Saylor's new prediction is that Bitcoin could possibly reach by 2045 $13 million. Per Bitcoin. Michael Saylor's predictions, MSTR MicroStrategy. Saylor notes you are still getting a 90% discount on a coin that is less than $1 million. Saylor believes that as the market matures and adoption increases, Bitcoin will experience less volatility than in the past. He highlighted the impact of recent developments, such as the launch of the spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund ETFs, which are likely to stabilize the market space. Furthermore, Michael Saylor does not expect significant drops similar to those seen in previous cycles. The only reasons we won't see drastic drops in Bitcoin is because of the amount of institutions in play. Institutions hold crypto. Any asset that an institution buys, they're holding for a minimum 5-year projection. So which means every institution is buying the Bitcoin from Wall Street, or they're buying as an ETF, they're holding a 5-year minimum projection, or 10 or 15 years, which means that is why we won't see drastic drops to Bitcoin, like Bitcoin going to $20,000 ever again, unless it's a coordinated movement. Currently, Bitcoin is trading at around $101,000, marking a 1.5% increase in the last 24 hours. Saylor also noted that the market is being influenced by ETFs, the options market, and companies like MicroStrategy, leading the expectations of more moderate fluctuations inside the market space. He encourages individuals to conduct their own research regarding Bitcoin, but he's basically telling everybody that there's a 90% discount. There's a 90% discount on Bitcoin that people should be going towards it. If Michael Saylor is telling people that Bitcoin is sitting at a 90% discount, 90% discount, and that people should go towards Bitcoin for those reasons, then I'm going to be telling everybody that XRP, and this is a real, in my opinion, this is genuinely real. It's not a, sarcastic way of me saying it, but I see XRP at a 99.9% discount. Honestly, I'm going to be using what he's basically saying on Bitcoin for long term, because Bitcoin can reach those figures. He's putting a long date on it, 2045. If you countering every single institution, ETF, market space, rules and regulations coming in later, more companies, worldwide type of scenario, America becoming capital hub, it's possibility of Bitcoin reaching those heights, 2045, 2050. But him saying 90% discount, I'm going to say 99% discount on XRP right now. 99% discount. XRP is cheap for what it's going to become. On the topic of Michael Saylor and Bitcoin and essentially Donald Trump and reserve assets, Florida's eyes on Bitcoin as a reserve asset is going to be happening apparently early 2025. Florida is going to be looking into the idea of adding Bitcoin as reserve in early 2025, maybe Q1. Florida may soon join the growing list of governments exploring Bitcoin as a strict reserve asset. According to Samuel, the president of the Florida's Blockchain Business Association, the FBBA, in a report published, the Streets Arms revealed that the state is considering stockpiling Bitcoin in its first quarter of 2025, reflecting its progressive approach essentially to cryptocurrency investments. And they're not going to be only essentially sticking to Bitcoin. They're going to start with Bitcoin, but add other crypto assets along the way. Florida has already made strides in cryptocurrencies through its pension funds, which includes investments in Bitcoins and crypto-related assets. This sets the stage for further exploration in Bitcoin reserves. By considering Bitcoin as a reserve asset, Florida signals its intent to lead in blockchain and cryptocurrency adoptions among US states. Bitcoin's fixed supply and essentially deflationary nature make it an attractive hedge against inflation, especially from state-level reserves. Adding Bitcoin to Florida's reserves could diversify its portfolio and reduce reliance on traditional financial instruments. Major companies like MicroStrategy and governments, including El Salvador, have already adapted as a reserve strategy, showcasing its viability in long-term strategies. Bitcoin's historical performance as a store of value offers the potential for significant returns over time, and investing in Bitcoin aligns with Florida's reputation as a tech-friendly state, attracting blockchain companies and investors worldwide. Adapting Bitcoin as a reserve asset could spur innovation and collaboration within Florida's blockchain ecosystem, and Bitcoin's price fluctuations might pose risk to state reserves, requiring cautious allocations and robust risk management. The US federal government and financial watchdogs may closely monitor Florida's moves, influencing essentially its decision-making process. The decision to adapt Bitcoin as a reserve asset is expected in Q1 2025, with updates likely to emerge through the Florida Blockchain Association business. And if successful, Florida could pave the way for other states inside the United States to consider cryptocurrencies in their financial strategies. And Florida's potential move to adapt Bitcoin as a reserve asset highlights its innovative, essentially, approach to finance and blockchain technology. If implemented, it could bolster the state's position as a leader in cryptocurrency space and inspire essentially similar initiatives across the states. Incredible. Incredible. Just to point out, Florida isn't the only one looking into essentially creating a Bitcoin reserve, but it is one of the United States thinking about doing this. Another state essentially is doing is Texas. Texas is thinking about doing a Bitcoin reserve. They're also very friendly with Bitcoin companies. Ohio is thinking about doing a Bitcoin reserve. Jersey is thinking about doing a Bitcoin reserve. There's quite a lot, essentially, of places in America that are thinking about doing a Bitcoin reserve. And honestly, if they all think about the same thing and the countries get involved, then Bitcoin reaching new heights of the prices that MicroStrategy is talking about, Saylor, is possible. Now, moving away essentially from Florida adapting the Bitcoin reserve strategy and maybe applying it Q1 2025. Honestly, 2025 is going to be an incredible year. As I said previously, it's just 4 years of making money. Because of Donald Trump, it's going to be 4 years of making an incredible amount of wealth in crypto. The way the digital market space, the way the crypto assets are going to be taking off in 2025 is incredible. Due to the regulations, no more gray areas, banks and institutions, SEC chairman, FDIC chairman, no more stifling banks getting involved. Incredible. And that's why Florida is thinking about doing a Q1 as well. Now, moving away from Florida to US job data that's just came out. So Grayscale decided to release a report today. And in their reports, they stated essentially regarding Fed rate cuts. Are we going to be expecting them this year or 2025 in terms of the new data reports that have came out? But before we go through Grayscale's new report that came out today, let's go inside the comment section. Let's see what's going on there. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section. And then we go straight into the US job data reports that have came out. That's going to be impacting the market space, to be fairly honest. And it's a report from Grayscale that's came out today. But let's see what's going on inside the comment section first. Good, thanks. Living and learning. Let's go, Woodhouse. Or how do you predict the near future for XRP? The near future for XRP is going to be incredible. XRP is going to be the only asset alongside essentially Bitcoin that is going to have the clarity, the same level of clarity as Bitcoin, because former SEC commissioners and former SEC commissioners and a former CFTC chairman have came out and given the exact same perspective that with a new SEC chairman, the crypto cases that are going on, they're either going to be dismissed or settled. So with essentially Paul Atkins being the new SEC chairman, these crypto cases are either going to be dismissed or settled, which means XRP will have the same clarity as Bitcoin. It will be the only crypto assets in the United States that has the same clarity as Bitcoin. And it has more licensings than any other crypto project out there. It has more licensings, more partnerships, more contracts in place, more developers in place. And you know, rules and regulations is when banks start getting involved, and guess who works with the banks? So in the near future, XRP is XRP has an incredible future, and if you're holding XRP, you're going into incredible wealth in 2025 and beyond. I do hope it's pegged to XRP. Let's go, Stormy. Can you explain what it means to peg the stablecoin to XRP? It will affect the price of XRP if the stablecoin is pegged. So it's like Luna and the stablecoin that was essentially pegged to Luna, where one will affect the other one's price. Miles, but if it's not, it doesn't matter. It still have some sort of an effect on it, but it'll have indirect effect on the price point. Miles, if the interest rate gets cut this month, do you think XRP can do double digits? Miles, if the interest rate gets cut this month, do you think XRP can do double digits? Based on interest rates, no. It would be incredible if based on interest rates, it does double digits, but not based on interest rates. Well, interest rates will give the market a boost without a doubt. But if it goes to double digits, that's incredible based on interest rates, not, factoring in the RLUSD or any sort of other announcements, but not based on interest rates. But then again, look, honestly, anything's possible in crypto. Just a personal preference. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you. How you doing? Morning. But yeah, Funky Brother, I would say more based on regulations is double digits. Case getting dropped is double digits. RLUSD being pegged to XRP is double digits over time, not overnight. Good morning, everyone. Ghost Bunner, good to see you. How you doing? Morning, how you been? What's crypto? It's basically data. It's a transfer of data. Cypher Solutions, if you want, anytime, you can go to join a Telegram group. There's a lot of people that can help you. It's completely free, by the way, if anybody wants to join a Telegram group. But join a Telegram group to learn more. Also, you can go to my startup blockchain company, Coinbase.1. You can study there for free as well. But in the most simplest term, crypto is just a transfer of data. Hi, Miles and CMF. Connie, good to see you. How you doing? Even Miles and CMF, Semper, good to see you. How you doing? Any thoughts about it? EP218 long-term future? It has a future. It has a future is what I would say, but it's not a must-have project for me. But it has a future, definitely. Miles, as much as I'm loving this crypto journey with the CMF family, I'm worried and concerned about capital gains tax. I know these bastards will come after us for unrealized gains, but we're actually going to be talking about unrealized gains on tonight's live. Miles, what do you think the best thing I should do with my small bag of XRP in 2025? Hold on to it in 2025 is what I would say. Hold on to it. Just be like, not financial advice, but as I've said previously, for the longest time, I've been in XRP since before the Ripple case ever started. I can remember when the Ripple case suddenly happened overnight, the price of XRP dropped to around 11 pence. And then it went up to 16 pence. Now, why I'm saying pence is because British. But I've been inside of XRP before the Ripple case and also until now. And I've always said that I'm never selling my XRP. XRP is the only asset, and XLM and XDC and so on. But it's the only assets that I'm going to be borrowing against, using them as collateral, and never selling them ever. Because I know what their true potential is. Because I read documents all the time and contracts all the time. So I would say, do the same play as me, not financial advice in a sort of a way, but do the same play as me. What price, in your opinion, and also add to it if you want along the way. Dollar cost average into it. It's still cheap for what it's going to become. But even having a small bag in the long-term play, you're still good. What price, in your opinion, we should expect after the 60-minute interview? Well, if the 60-minute interview goes good, then price-wise, I wouldn't be able to tell. But what I would say is the market will react in a positive way. So if the 60-minute video comes out with Brad talking about XRP case and Ripple case and so on, then if the video comes out good, it has a positive view about it, then the market will react in a positive way. If the video comes out not what people are expecting, then the market will react in a negative way. But either way, if it goes positive, great. If it goes negative, it will be 2-3 days negative before XRP starts climbing back up again. So it depends on what's being said in that video, which we're actually going to talk about tonight's live, the possibility of what discussions they must have had. If investment banks lock their assets for 5 years, what happens once XRP is unleashed? They will transfer some of that money over, or will the banks not invest as much sense already tied up in BTC? Institutions and banks have more money than you could pretty much imagine, as I said previously as well. So, not you, Stormy, but in general, a lot of people assume that, for example, when Bitcoin was sitting at, because your question relates to Bitcoin as well, where you say essentially, because the banks will not invest in much because they're tied up in BTC. Bitcoin can't, first of all, be used for payments. Bitcoin cannot be used for payments. It's been stated by many institutions that Bitcoin is better for reserve of assets than rather than payments. And even some banks have stated worldwide, Bitcoin is not a great asset for payments, but it's a great asset for a reserve asset and a risk-off asset to be in the same category as gold, risk-off, eventually. But in terms of payments, Bitcoin is not great in that feature at all. And in terms of will the banks have too much Bitcoin, which means they won't go for XRP? No, because they have more money than a lot of people can imagine. As I've said previously, a lot of people are expecting Bitcoin to go to $20,000 or $10,000 before the institutions got involved. And I said, inside the crypto space, I was pretty much the one that was against everybody. I said Bitcoin doesn't have to go to $10,000 before the institutions buy it. I said that institutions have more money than people can comprehend. And what do you know, Bitcoin never went to $10,000, and instead Bitcoin started climbing to all-time new highs. It's because institutions have more money than you could possibly imagine. And just to give you a better perspective on the matter as well, MicroStrategy is buying Bitcoin at around $100,000. I mean, just 5 minutes ago, I explained basically that MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, is saying that Bitcoin is sitting at a 90% discount. This man is going to be buying Bitcoin at $200,000, $500,000 essentially. These companies don't care, and these banks don't care. If they see an asset with potential, they couldn't care less if the asset is sitting at $100,000 or $50,000 or essentially $500,000 in terms of $1 million. If an asset has potential to grow in 10 years' time or 20 years' time, they're going for it. So, so let's say if the banks are tied up on too much Bitcoin and the institutions have too much Bitcoin, does that mean that the institutions have spent all their money on Bitcoin? They have no money left for XRP or any other asset? Incorrect. They have more money than anybody can understand. More money than anybody can understand. They're buying Bitcoin at $100,000. If they, were tight on money, they wouldn't be buying Bitcoin at $100,000. So on those basis of, they might be tied up, let's say, with Bitcoin, which means they won't have any more money left or any sort like that for any other asset. No, they have more money than anybody can imagine. And in terms of banks, investment banks locking up their assets, their XRP for 5 years, they won't be locking up XRP. They could do if they wanted to. Investment banks can lock up essentially XRP. It's more like institutions will lock up their XRP rather than banks. Banks will be using XRP as an intermediary asset in between transaction currencies, domestic or international payments. But I could see the potential of essentially institutions locking up their XRP in terms of reserves. But banks wouldn't do that because they're going to be using on a 24/7 basis. Hi, Miles and family. Miles, is this my first run with crypto? This is my first run with crypto. Will you be guiding us along the way, making sure explaining the steps? Miles, yes. Alex, I'm always here to help everyone. I've been helping everyone for almost 2 years now, over 2 years. Every day, pretty much, I've been helping people. You can, as I said previously, I do this live. Now it's Monday to Friday. It used to be 7 days a week. I used to do this live, but now it's Monday to Friday, and it's going to stay Monday to Friday for the longest time. But we also have our own Telegram group, which we're always more than you can join, and everyone's more than welcome to help you out. And also, I have put PDF documents inside the Telegram group as well, explaining when to take your profits out and step on the sidelines and so on. But yeah, I'm going to be there to guide you along the way. You can always direct message me as well whenever you want. I always tell members they can do that. Someone I know was shocked by how much her value of XRP has gone up. I'm very happy for her. Let's go, Denise. Okay, thanks, Miles. I just feel like XRP is being robbed. I honestly believe XRP was not held back. It would be as much as BTC. Let's go, Stormy. I believe the fact that XRP might have been XRP was robbed from its title, but nothing's holding XRP back now. Even the Miles and institutions and banks have a lot of money to play around with. Even the Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Okay, thanks, Miles. I just feel like XRP is being robbed. I honestly believe if XRP was held back, it would be as much as BTC. How's it going, Miles and CMF? One love. Good to see you. How you doing? Hello, Miles and family. Comatose, good to see you. How you doing? But yeah, I get the point regarding they tried to hold back XRP from its true potential, but them holding it back made us get XRP at a much more bigger discount. There's a positive in every negative situation. But no, and the banks and institutions have too much money. So, XRP could be sitting at, hypothetically, to $100, for example, and they'll still be buying it. Or $1,000, they'll still be buying it. Now, US job data reports that have came out today. A data report from Grayscale. Non-farm payroll data for essentially November was higher than expected. However, the data also revealed an accompanying uptick in the unemployment, which could pressure the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates later this month. A perspective coming from Grayscale in terms of, are we going to be getting rate cuts this month or essentially next year? And rate cuts are extremely good for the market space, because a rate cut for any jurisdiction that goes for a rate cut is an indication that their economy is not doing too well. Any country does a rate cut, it's an indication that their economy is not doing too well, which means people will hedge against traditional assets using alternative assets, which means the last two rate cuts we had, the crypto market reacted in a positive way, because it's an indication that the central bank is basically saying we're not doing too well. According to analysts, the likely interest rates cuts may spur investor appetite for Bitcoin and crypto assets. As a perspective from Grayscale, a total of 227,000 new jobs were added for November, beating the expectations of 220,000, as unemployment rose to 4.2%. In a statement essentially to Cointelegraph, Zach, the head of research at Grayscale Investments, wrote, "Today's job reports likely solidifies the case for another Fed rate cut at its upcoming meeting, or essentially all else equal, lower official interest rates tend to weigh on the value of the dollar and benefit other currencies, including Bitcoin and essentially crypto assets." Despite the retreat from above $100,000 yesterday, Grayscale Research thinks that crypto rally could extend into New Year's and continue. You see what Grayscale just said there? This is Grayscale's head of essentially this is Grayscale's head of research and investments. Grayscale's head of research and investments said that the crypto rally that you're seeing right now is going to be continuing into New Year's and continuing beyond New Year's. The crypto rally you're seeing right now, prices going higher in crypto assets, Bitcoin reaching new heights, XRP climbing the ladder, Ethereum starting to move today, XDC doing high, HBAR doing well. So, a lot of assets are moving. Grayscale's head of research has came out today and said that the crypto rally that you're seeing is going to be continuing into New Year's and continuing beyond New Year's into 2025. We're going to go higher. It almost seems like something I said. I'm telling you, 2025 is going to be incredible. It's going to be 4 years of making money because of Trump. This is why I say everybody's going to be very grateful Trump was chosen. The CME, essentially, the Grayscale's research prediction echoed by other analysts as well, who's likely said that the numbers would likely cause the Federal Reserve to cut the rates as well. The CME FedWatch prediction tool forecast a 74.5% chance that the Fed would lower interest rates by 0.25% following its December 17th and 18th meeting. And the odds of an interest rate cut essentially grew following remarks from Federal Reserve's Governor Christopher Waller indicating support for December reductions. "I believe that the monetary policy is still essentially restrictive," Waller said. "I expect rate cuts to continue over the next year until we approach a more neutral setting of policy rates," the Fed governor essentially continued. The price of Bitcoin tumbled by nearly 3%. The Fed chairman Jerome Powell told the media the economy is not sending any signals that we need to have and hurry up essentially in terms of lower rate cuts, but a different perspective is saying that we do need rate cuts. And Jamie Coates, the essentially the chief crypto analyst at Real Vision, recently predicted that the Federal Reserve would increase the M2 money supply, a measure of the total money supply circulating, essentially currently circulating, by approximately $20 trillion in 2025. The analyst also said that increased liquidity may attract $2 trillion in capital in Bitcoin and markets, and essentially pointed to historical data showing that Bitcoin tends to absorb approximately 10% of newly created money supplies when M2 increases. We're going to get a boost of about $20 trillion coming inside the market space in 2025. A boost of money of $20 trillion entering the market space in 2025. You know what's interesting as well? Because Grayscale previously said something that I said as well. So during this year, at the beginning of the year, I said that we're going to be essentially the next clientele entering the market space is going to be institutional clientele. I said at the beginning of this year, at the beginning of 2024, I said that the next clientele entering the market space is going to be institutional, essentially clientele. We fast forward a little bit, and then Grayscale repeats what I said as well. Now, I'm not trying to be cocky in any sort of a way. It's just I'm very thankful and, honestly, for the wisdom that God's given me. But Everything that I say does get repeated by institutions. And again, Grayscale is repeating my words on the basis, and I'm not saying Grayscale is listening to me at all. That's not what I'm trying to say, that Grayscale is listening to my live and going on the news and saying that, or their head of research is listening to me and saying what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm predicting their market movements before they come out with their announcements, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm not trying to say Grayscale is listening to me and repeating my words, but what I am trying to say is I'm calling their movements before they announce it. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, too senior, this is why I'm never wrong. I'm too quick on finding out what their next movements are. Too senior, also on the topic of the Feds, two senior Federal Reserve officials make hot statements about Bitcoin and interest rate cuts. In their latest, essentially, statements, the two Fed officials that have came forward in terms of rate cuts and so on, they decided to give their opinions on this matter as well. So not only Grayscale's head of research has came out, but also two Fed members have came out. So the Fed officials expressed their views on the U.S. economy, monetary policies, and the cryptocurrency sector. Important statements were made by the Fed members, Hammack and Goolsbee, touching essentially on the interest rates, economic growth, and Bitcoin's role inside the financial ecosystems. Hammack emphasized a data-driven approach to monetary policies, noting that the U.S. economy remains strong and solid growth, lower unemployment, and gradual decreasing inflation, essentially adding that the economic situation requires monetary restrictive monetary policies. Hammack also hinted that the Fed may slow the pace of rate cuts in line with the market expectations that will the single rate cut for the next two Federal Open Market Committees meetings that are coming up. The time has come, and all will soon come, for the Fed to slow the pace of rate cuts, Hammack said. This is two very different perspectives. The member added that the outlook for financial markets was consistent with his views, suggesting a least aggressive stance as inflationary pressures ease and the labor markets stabilize. Meanwhile, the Fed member Goolsbee addressed cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, arguing that its high volatility prevents it from functioning effectively as a currency. Bitcoin's attractive volatility prevents it from becoming a currency because it is not stable of a store of value. Goolsbee said he also expressed skepticism about the broader economic impact of cryptocurrencies, describing them as speculative assets and limited real-world applications. So far, the rise of crypto assets has had much of a macro impact, but there could be a wealth impact. That's the interesting part of his entire speech, the two Fed members, where essentially him stating, so far, the rise of crypto assets hasn't had much of a macro impact, but there could be a wealth impact moving forward when it comes to crypto assets. If you're holding legitimate assets, crypto assets that are going to be benefiting from rules and regulations of banks and institutions coming in 2025, you're going to make an incredible amount of wealth. That's what it basically means. Regarding the Fed's intervention in Bitcoin, Hammack also explained that the Fed follows developments regarding cryptocurrencies, but does not have a direct relationship with Bitcoin, obviously. Both officials, the Fed officials, said that the incoming data is important in shaping the Fed's decision. Hammack took a much more clearer stance on December's FOMC meeting, saying additional data inflation and consumer spendings would influence the final decision. So two Fed members coming out, essentially giving their perspectives, just like Grayscale's head of research did. And one of them stating the most interesting part regarding, so far, the rise of crypto assets hasn't had much of a macro impact, but there could be a wealth impact moving forward, essentially, with the Fed meetings and the rate cuts and the economy in general. And then matching up to what Grayscale said about $20 trillion pumping inside the market space, there's definitely going to be a wealth impact because their words kind of match. Now, US SEC, unlikely regarding the approvals of ETFs. And just to point it out, it's Gary Gensler. He's still obviously in the chairman position and he's clinging on. As I said previously, Gary Gensler, I used to call Gary Gensler a weasel. I still do. But I also call Gary Gensler a leech because he hangs on and doesn't want to let go. That is what we're going to be talking about next regarding Gary Gensler and ETFs, the full ETFs for XRP, the ETFs for Solana, the Grayscale large cap fund ETF. Is Gary Gensler looking into him? Is the SEC looking into him? And so on is what we're going to talk about next. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So Let's go to the comment section. Let's see what's going on there. Facts, it was not for the court case. I wouldn't even had time to buy XRP at those prices. Let's go, Stormy. Stormy exactly brought XRP cheap. Yep. Let's go, Peg. Facts, both of you, Stormy and Pegs. Facts. OLUSD 60-minute live plus possible interest rate cuts, all bullish for XRP. So the chances are we might go into double digits soon. On those bases, then yes, possibility. But rules and regulations is 100% essentially, not overnight, but over time, 100% double digits on the rules and regulations. Is it possible for, and the case being over, settled or dismissed, is it possible for Trump to stay on a vice president after his term in office? As vice president, if Trump wants to, maybe due to the laws in the United States, I would have to look into that. But I think J.D. Vance is probably going to be next, which isn't a bad choice. Honestly, Trump being president, and then after Trump, J.D. Vance, and after J.D. Vance, Vivek Ramsey, and so on. I think the U.S.'s future is going to look very bright if it continues down that path. The U.S. will look very bright in terms of future. Hi, Miles. I hope all is well. Hi, CMF. Let's go, Miles. You're on fire. Let's go, Peg. How you doing? Hi, Miles and family. Golden Dragon. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, you don't need to talk about Gary Leach Gensler. Gary Leach Gensler. So, is Gary Gensler looking into the ETFs that are filed with the SEC? Has he looked into even one ETF documentation? No. The likelihood of a Solana exchange-traded fund or any sort of ETFs coming out of the United States of being approved has hit a major obstacle, with reports suggesting that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, may not advance on the applications under current leadership. Under the current leadership of the SEC, is any ETFs going to be approved for XRP or Solana or anything else? No. According to Ellen Torrett, a journalist for essentially with Fox Business, the SEC has reportedly informed at least 2 of the 5 Solana ETF applicants that their proposal will not advance, with primary rejections decisions expected January 2025. But what we do know is that the 5 Solana ETFs that were filed in with the SEC, 2 of them already got rejected. But none of the XRP ETFs have been rejected. In fact, the SEC has not even looked into the XRP ETFs. I wonder why. But Tarrant also, citing an undisclosed source, revealed that the SEC is unlikely to approve any new crypto ETFs under the current administration. This stance marks a setback for the broader crypto industry, especially after the securities regulators' approval of landmarks in terms of ETFs earlier. Gary Gensler can leave, get up and leave if he wants to now. He can get up and leave. But he won't. Gary Gensler is like a leech. He just won't let go. He wants to cause havoc until the last minute he's in office. This man is leaving 5 minutes before. 5 minutes before Trump gets impeached in January 20th is when Gary Gensler is leaving. He's leaving 5 minutes before Trump gets impeached in, which honestly proves the whole point of Gary Gensler as a leech. The move comes aimed growing anticipations around Grayscale's digital large cap fund. In terms of their application, the SEC recently acknowledged Grayscale's request to convert GDLC into an ETF. Grayscale is doing a large cap fund of an ETF: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and AVAX, altogether one ETF. And the fund, which has $524 million in assets under management inside of it, includes diversified crypto assets such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Avalanche. Despite this progress, the SEC appears reluctant to expand the crypto ETF landscape further under its current leadership. The situation casts doubts on the broader crypto ETF market space, potentially impacting other pending products with deadlines under the current leadership. So Gary Gensler has basically refused to do his job. He's just given up on doing his job. He just wants to go to his office, do absolutely nothing, get taxpayers' money as a wage, and go back home until January 20th. The decision could leave the Solana ETF applications and other pending proposals in limbo until the next administration takes over. The regulatory hesitancy essentially raises concerns about the broader crypto ETF market space, particularly for products with deadlines approaching before January 2025. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler's cautious approach to crypto regulations has drawn criticism from industry participants. Speculations about Gary Gensler's future intensified right after his remarks at an annual institution on securities regulations that happened, where he essentially hinted at the potential changes in leadership but stopped short of Cummings, but he is still resigning. Gensler has faced mounting pressure from following President-elect Donald Trump's campaign to promise to overhaul the SEC's leadership, and especially naming Gensler as a target for removal upon his sit-downs as of January 20th, 2025. But honestly, it seems out, according to news sources, that Gary Gensler is refusing to do his job, refusing to look at the ETF applicant filings from any institution, and has also rejected 2 Solana ETFs. Now, moving on from essentially Gary Gensler, the leech, to Coinbase. Coinbase has been going on essentially battling the SEC, just like any other thing, essentially. Any other crypto company that is going out there. So Ripple going against the SEC, Kraken going against the SEC, Crypto.com going against the SEC, Consensus, in other words, MetaMask going against the SEC, and so on. Coinbase has also been battling the SEC and Gary Gensler, but Coinbase did it from a different angle. Coinbase went after the FDIC as well. You see, it's not just Gary Gensler that's been stifling crypto movements inside the United States with Elizabeth Warren. It's also been the FDIC chairman, where the FDIC chairman, who is in charge of, let's just in the most simplest form, of the banks inside the United States, the FDIC chairman sent 20 letters to the banks inside the United States to not work with crypto companies or crypto CEOs or crypto executives or crypto employees, that US banks are not allowed to work with anything crypto related, is what the FDIC chairman said to all these banks. They sent 20 letters. So Coinbase decided to sue, essentially, and go after the Freedom of Information Act in terms of the FDIC chairman and find out what these letters were. That this is a bigger operation than just Gary Gensler. This is the FDIC chairman, the SEC chairman, and Elizabeth Warren that are stifling everything. 3 people. Do you know how crazy that is? 3 people were holding the crypto space back. Elizabeth Warren, FDIC chairman, and SEC chairman Gary Gensler. 3 people. Because of their high positions. Coinbase's poll reveals letters the US regulator sent to the banks from serving crypto businesses. This was just revealed by the courts that Coinbase was able to achieve this and get those letters. Documents obtained by Coinbase today through the Freedom of Information Act, the FOIA, revealed that the Federal Deposits and Insurance Corporations, the FDIC, and other federal agencies actively discouraged banks from transacting with crypto businesses in what is properly called Operation Choke Point 2.0 within the crypto industry. Following the release of the documents obtained by Coinbase through the FOIA, Coinbase's chief legal officer, Paul, took to X to talk about the challenges the crypto industry has faced at the hands of the FDIC chairman and the banks that acted to curb crypto-related activities under the regulator's advisory. Paul also highlighted the extent to which regulatory bodies, especially the FDIC, have gone to restrict crypto businesses from essentially accessing essential banking services. For a while, it felt like the crypto industry was under siege, and it faced a consistent barrage, essentially, of enforcement actions from US regulators. Recently discovered documents have confirmed that the US regulators might have indeed taken active steps to stifle crypto operations. It's been proven now. Operation Choke Point 2.0, that some people inside the crypto space said it's a myth that XRP holders are making out of thin air, or conspiracy theories inside the crypto space that there's nobody stifling crypto or stifling XRP, for example. But it seems like there was some stifling going on towards XRP, crypto assets, and banks. And it was only because the FDIC chairman was doing it. And Operation Choke Point 2.0 was real, because the letters are now there. And this is what essentially Paul is saying from Coinbase, which is essentially their CLO, that it wasn't just a myth inside the crypto community. There was actually a debunking campaign going on. Because a lot of people inside the crypto space would have said a while ago that, and some people still do say that now, that that the SEC going against Ripple or XRP is just a conspiracy theory, or the SEC favoring Ethereum over XRP is a conspiracy theory, or the banks, the FDIC chairman going against XRP or Ripple is a conspiracy theory, or so on. In reality, it's not a myth; it's real. He expressed frustration, saying that the law-abiding American businesses should be able to access banking services without government interference. Paul essentially pointed out that the FDIC continues to withhold key details through their reductions. However, he applauded the efforts of the team pursuing the FOIA essentially request, emphasizing the need for clarity and transparency from the government regarding regulations. He also noted that the incoming administration has the opportunity to reverse so many poor crypto policy decisions, chief among them particularly essentially motivated regulatory decisions like Operation Choke Point 2.0. The lack of clarity in regulations has become a serious issue with far-reaching consequences for the crypto sector. Under the Biden administration, the SEC has filed lawsuits against many crypto businesses, including Binance and Coinbase and Ripple and so on, and two of the biggest crypto exchanges. The regulator alleged violations of security laws, acting as an exchange broker and clearing agency without proper registrations. The FDIC letters obtained by Coinbase through History Associates revealed that regulators discouraged banks from transacting with crypto-related businesses and in some instances debanking them. The FDIC chairman, in letters that were sent to banks, said debank crypto CEOs, debank crypto executives, debank crypto employees, close down their bank accounts, is what the FDIC chairman was sending letters to the banks saying, close down their bank accounts inside America. All those letters are now in the hands of Coinbase. In the hearings of the House Financial Services Committee, Nathan, the CEO essentially of Anchorage Digital, a bank federally chartered in the US by the Office of the OCC, says that he was surprised that it got debanked, considering that it is a national bank. Industry leaders like Paul said the regulatory spotlight on crypto was politically motivated. However, regulatory agencies would argue that their actions were necessary to protect customers and prevent financial crimes. The FDIC chairman's response for telling banks to debank, close down the bank accounts for crypto employees and crypto executives and crypto CEOs and CFOs and so on. The FDIC's chairman response was he was protecting essentially the customers of the US customer base and the US essentially clientele in terms of sales and so on, but they were protecting US retail section, which is complete load of BS. Complete load of BS. They were doing it for their own benefits from whoever was giving the order. They would also cite the crash of FTX and more recently the convictions of Bitcoin's founder ex-CEO CZ, who pleaded guilty to financial regulation violations. The former received a 25-year jail sentence, and with the latter went from prison to 4 months and paid over $4 billion in fines. The FDIC chairman and the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, are saying the only reason we stifled crypto was because it's filled with criminal activities. They said, look, we put CZ in prison for 4 months. We arrested the FTX chairman, the FTX essentially CEO, Sam Beckman. He was, full of crimes and illicit activities. We stopped crypto illicit activities is what we were doing, which is completely out of BS. First of all, CZ had no choice but to roll over because America always wanted a piece of the pie when it came to Binance. So CZ had no choice but to roll over. It was either CZ pleads guilty or CZ goes through court battles for a good 10 years, which damages Binance as a company, which makes Binance go downhill, which makes CZ pay $200 to $300 million in essentially law firms in terms of fees. So CZ had no choice but to roll over and just plead guilty and get it over with. It was otherwise 10 years of case battles and Binance goes down the toilet. So they had no choice. Second of all, FTX, Sam Beckman was best buddies with Gary Gensler. They had multiple meetings behind closed doors, but Gary Gensler couldn't tell if he was doing criminal activities. Congress has asked Gary Gensler many times to reveal what discussions were made behind closed doors with Sam Beckman and Gary Gensler has refused to reveal what those conversations were to Congress. Not only that, Sam Beckman's parents had the same accountant essentially as Elizabeth Warren. Who figures that one out? There's so many links between Sam Beckman and Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren. It's ridiculous. But they're trying to say, oh, look how much we helped the crypto space. We put CZ in prison for 4 months because he had no choice but to roll over. Or we put Sam Beckman in prison. Yeah, but he was your best friend. So how did you not realize all this time? And what was the discussions behind closed doors? And why did you share the same accountant, all the same lawyers, all the same everything? Now, there's so many questions on that basis. But for them to be coming out and saying we were protecting American citizens from the crypto frauds, yeah, sure. Let's all pretend we believe that one. Now, on something good, European market spaces have came up with something good. Yes, a few nights ago, I revealed that France is thinking about doing unrealized taxes. So let's say if you made a profit in your crypto assets, but you didn't sell, you have to pay taxes, is what France is thinking about doing. But another European, essentially, country is thinking about doing something completely different. No taxes on crypto if you hold it for 3 months on unrealized gains. Sorry, if you hold it for 3 years. But that's what we're going to be talking about next regarding crypto taxes and policies coming out of the EU. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see what's going on here. Hold on, CMF is going to be fun ride to the moon. XRP, let's go peg. Exchanges tried to crash the market a few times to take out leverage traders, but seems like they don't have the power anymore to crash the markets too much. Money's entering the markets. It's true. That is true. They can do it, but it has to be very coordinated and very fast if you want to do it. Gensler needs a good old-fashioned ass kicking. Let's go, Jim. Gary Gensler has no shame or self-respect. What kind of a weasel and a disgrace of a man he is. I agree 100%. What Funky Brother has just said. Absolutely. Gary Gensler has nowhere else to go. Everyone hates him. He has no future job opportunities open to him. Actually, Gary Gensler was awarded a job, believe it or not. Justin Sun offered Gary Gensler a job. Maybe just to mock him every day. SEC just filed a motion against Matic, Ada, Algo, Mana, Sandbox, and others today. Well, no surprise there. What's up, Stalling, Francis? Stalling, good to see you. How you doing, brother? How you been, Stalling? How's things? So does that include Sweden? It has to. Regarding, well, I'm going to tell you which country it is. Look, the idea of you holding crypto and you don't sell, but you pay taxes is stupid in the first place. But is what France is considering. But another European country is considering something else. For the first time in a long time, positive news for crypto assets from the European country. The Czech Republic has taken a significant step in the European economy to forward in cryptocurrency regulations by passing a law that exempts Bitcoin and other crypto assets held for more than 3 years from capital gains tax. The measure, which was anonymously approved by Parliament today, will come into effect January 1st, 2025. The new law introduces clear rules for tax exemptions for cryptocurrency transactions, according to Czech's news outlets. Individuals will be able to benefit from tax reliefs under 2 main conditions. 1. Income limits. Annual gross income from cryptocurrency transactions must not exceed $4,000. Holding period of digital assets must be held for at least 3 years before being sold to benefit from the exemption. Prime Minister, essentially Peter Filler, described the new law as a win for innovation and modern technologies. If you hold cryptocurrencies for more than 3 years, the sale will not be taxed. Their sale will not be taxed if you hold it for more than 3 years. They won't tax you a single penny for holding it. They won't tax you a single penny when you sell it. But the catch is, there's always a catch. We have pushed for benefit conditions for cryptocurrencies to make people's lives easier and support modern technologies. The Czech Republic's reforms are in line with the European Union's markets and crypto assets, MICA, essentially, regulatory frameworks, which will essentially come into force December 30th, 2024. So the catch essentially was income limits. Annual gross income from cryptocurrency transactions must not exceed 100,000 Czech, which is about approximately $4,000. So if your income from cryptocurrencies is above $4,000, which in about 99% of cases will be, you won't get taxed. But the good thing is, if you're holding on to it, they won't tax you. But when you sell it, they'll still tax you, is what they're trying to say. Because the chances of somebody only making $4,000 from crypto in profit in 2025 and 2026 and 2027 is virtually impossible, because you're going to make a lot more money. But the good thing is they won't tax you for holding it, like France at least. But it seems like one EU country is coming around and giving a different perspective. Now, moving away from the EU, maybe deciding to open its eyes and not tax people holding crypto assets, but tax them instead when they sell it. Makes more sense if you're going to tax someone. Is US ETFs. So it's finally happened. And what I mean by that is that the ETF space in America, BlackRock's ETF and Franklin Templeton's and Grayscale's and so on, all of these ETFs combined in the US market space have passed Satoshi's holdings. US ETFs became the biggest Bitcoin holders, beating Satoshi. US corporations are holding more Bitcoin as a collective group than Satoshi Nakamoto. US Bitcoin ETFs now hold more Bitcoin than Satoshi Nakamoto. Data essentially compiled by analysts reveals that these ETFs currently are holding 1,104,534 Bitcoins, exceeding Satoshi Nakamoto's estimated holdings of just 1.1 million. BTC establishing them as the largest holders of Bitcoin worldwide. American corporations, the top, just to point it out, not all American corporations, but the top American corporations are holding more Bitcoin together than Satoshi Nakamoto now. BlackRock leads the ETF race with holding essentially 521,375 Bitcoins under its management. Roughly about more than 500,000 is just BlackRock. Following closely are Grayscale's GBTC and mini ETFs with 251,330 Bitcoins and Fidelity's FBTC with 199,246 Bitcoins. Other notable contributors include ARK and 21 Shares with 48,144 Bitcoins and Bitwise with 41,062 Bitcoins. And the ETFs added essentially on the side are 8,636 Bitcoins in a single day, demonstrating a relentless accumulation since their launch early this year. Notably, their collective holdings of 1.104 essentially million Bitcoins means institutional investors have put around, just this year, institutional investors have put around $110 billion into Bitcoin's market this year. And this is without rules and regulations and gray areas and so on, but it's just the ETF market space. $110 billion. And American corporations are now, collectively, these ones, BlackRock essentially, and BlackRock, Bitwise, 21 Shares, Grayscale, collectively together are holding more Bitcoin than Satoshi Nakamoto now, which is massive news, to be fairly honest. Now, the Financial Conduct Authority, so moving away from the American corporations holding more Bitcoin to the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, sending out a warning to a Solana meme coin factory, you could pretty much say. So there's a website by the name of pump.fun that most people would have probably heard of inside the crypto space, which is the easiest way to create a meme coin, post it online, do a live about it, and, you know, pump and dump. So this platform has been blocked in the UK because, one, it lied. Pump.fun in its website said that it is regulated by the UK authorities. In reality, it isn't. And second is because the UK is fed up with meme coins. The United Kingdom's Financial Conduct Authority, FCA, has issued a warning against the meme coin generator platform Pump.fun, which is Solano's #1 meme coin factory, stating that the platform is not authorized to operate in the country. The warning issued notes that the platform may be providing and promoting financial services or products without the permission in the UK. The notice adds that the customers dealing with Pump.fun won't have access to consumer protections such as the Financial Ombudsman Services or the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, the FCA said. You should avoid dealing with this firm and be aware of scams. Pump.fun's term of services that several countries are prohibited to users, but the UK is not among them. So obviously Pump.fun was lying for a very long time, saying the UK is, you know, not allowed to be using our website and so on. But they did actually say on their website previously, I don't know if they have changed it now overnight, but they have said on their websites that, you know, they work with the UK. And in reality, they don't. And the platform notes that users in jurisdictions deemed as high risk or sanctioned by the UK, United States, European Union, and United Nations are not eligible to access services now. The list of prohibited countries includes Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Syria, and Russia. Cointelegraph reached out to Pump.fun for a comment but did not receive an immediate response. Pump.fun, a decentralized platform on the Solana blockchain that enables users to create and launch their own tokens, primarily meme tokens, without requiring technical expertise. Launched in January 2024, it has gained popularity for its simple and low-cost token creation process. According to data available on June Analytics, the platform has generated over $288.4 million in revenue since its inception, and users on Pump.fun support channels on Telegram claim the platform is no longer available in the UK. Despite the ban, some participants did not seem to be intimidated with these few users, even sharing tips to bypass the regulators' guardrails by just using a VPN. The Financial Conduct Authority has previously issued similar warnings against crypto firms in October as well, 2023. The financial watchdogs in the UK added over 140 digital asset companies to its essentially non-authorized list, including major exchanges like Huobi and KuCoin, citing lack of regulatory approvals to operate in local market spaces. The UK has also developing regulatory frameworks for digital assets in an effort to establish clear rules and guidelines in the industry, and the frameworks are expected to introduce regulations covering stablecoin staking and other crypto activities. So UK essentially banning the #1 Pump.fun, essentially pump and dump meme coin platform for Solana is an interesting play. Do you know the only reason why they're doing it? So Pump.fun has been active since January until now on Solana's platform, and people have been getting dumped on since January until now. No issues. What brought the UK's attention to this was, look, there's two ways to go about this. One is there's been relatively 2 new scams on Pump.fun that are blasted everywhere right now. On the UK news, for example, they're talking about the, believe it or not, in the UK news, they're talking about the Hawk Tour Go, where the Hawk Tour Go essentially yesterday revealed, or the day before yesterday, revealed a meme coin and it crashed. That was pretty much the last strike for the UK because of the and she's on the news in the UK pretty much everywhere. So that is the reasons why the UK is going to be banning platforms like this from now on. Now, another reason is also because we're getting very close to rules and regulations, and meme coins have no place in rules and regulations. But that was pretty much the final straw for the UK, apparently. That they needed someone like her to come along and for the UK to go, okay, that's it. Now we're blocking essentially meme coins. It's a strange way to come to a conclusion. Now, moving away essentially from the Financial Conduct Authority to Hong Kong. Hong Kong has finally introduced its stablecoin bill to regulate virtual tokens. So the rules and regulations coming from essentially Hong Kong for stablecoins is finally ready. which is great timing, to be fairly honest, because Hong Kong's a very big fan of Ripple, and Ripple's RLUSD is also coming out this month as well, but it was supposed to be approved by the New York Financial Department Services. So that is next what we're going to be talking about. But before we talk about that, let's go inside the comment section first. And as I said previously, this is a live, which means get involved inside the comment section. If you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. Let's see what's going on inside the comment section, and then we go straight into the next news regarding Hong Kong and regulations. We still have a lot of news to go through regarding essentially BRICS news. We have to go through Ripple news. We have to go through BlackRock news. We have to go through, and now we're going to go through Hong Kong news. But before we go through that, comment section. I can see Gensler jumping on a plane on the 20th to some island to avoid prosecution. It's a possibility. Great to go, XRP. Yeah, XRP is doing very well for itself. Do you think Paul Atkins will end the Ripple lawsuit? Paul Atkins will either dismiss or settle the Ripple lawsuit, 100%. He will either dismiss it or settle it. It's the only reason he's been chosen for that position, not just for the Ripple case, but for the entire crypto space, to dismiss or settle any sort of crypto cases and bring out proper regulations for the market space. Happy Pisces, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? But that is the reasons why he's chosen for that position, to be pro-crypto instead of anti-crypto. So yes, he has to. It's not optional. I think it comes with a job description on that matters. Miles, please tell Kerry to check the mod group. Kerry, check the mod group and the Telegram group. Check the mod group and the Telegram group. Kerry. Hong Kong to introduce stablecoins. She pumped the coin to $500 million, then dumped it to 50. Yep. Hong Kong to introduce stablecoin bills to regulate virtual tokens. The Hong Kong government has published stablecoin essentially bill to bringing in the proposed regulatory frameworks one step closer to becoming law. The city seeks to strike a balance between financial stability and consumer safety while pursuing its virtual asset agenda. On the other hand, China continues to prioritize digital assets that can be controlled. The Chinese authorities then and now regard decentralized digital currencies as more destructive than beneficial. The risk stems from crypto capacities to hide essentially capital outflows, which Chinese policymakers wish to discourage rather than encourage, as well as the role in money laundering. China is essentially, however, gradually opening up to crypto under its jurisdictions. Believe it or not, China, the country that essentially banned crypto assets and banned Bitcoin mining, is opening up to the idea of crypto regulations, moving forward with cryptocurrencies, and unbanning crypto assets. Why? Because of Trump. China is the biggest competitor to Trump. China is the biggest competitor to America. The American market space and the Chinese market space have always been competitors in every field. It could be the automotive field, the real estate space, the tech space, the asset space, whatever, any market space you could potentially think of. The American market space has always been in competition with Chinese market space and vice versa. And that is the only reason that China is opening its doors. I'm telling you, the entire world is getting prepared to go pro-crypto. And it's only because of Trump. He makes America pro-crypto and capital hub of cryptocurrencies. The world becomes the capital hub of cryptocurrencies. The publication of the stablecoin bill that's coming out in Hong Kong as well is only because of Trump again, because America is moving forward. A public consultation held also in July by the city's Financial Affairs Office and Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the industry players. 3 stablecoin issuers were admitted to the test to use in various settings. The testing was done then, and now we get to a stage of approvals or faster approval. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority will be granted the authority to supervise, investigate, and enforce the regime in order to ensure its effective implementation of its regulations. The government has announced that the stablecoin bill will be introduced on the Legislative Essentially Council for the first reading the 18th of this month. Under the proposed regulatory systems, issuers of fiat reference stablecoins and essentially other tokens that claim to maintain a stable value of the Hong Kong dollar will be getting a license, will require to get a license from the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. According to their statements, the licenses are also required to publicly sell the issuance of these tokens. Christopher, the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, said in a statement, the legislative proposals is essential for Hong Kong in fulfilling our obligations as a member of the Financial Stability Board. He added this risk-based proposal aims to promote a robust regulatory environment, which is in line with Hong Kong's approach to virtual asset developments. The draft includes information regarding the definition of stablecoins, the licensing application procedure, and transitional arrangements for current stablecoin issuers, among other things. It also prohibits certain activities such as using misrepresentation to persuade another individual to acquire a stablecoin. And according to Andrew Fay, a partner at a law firm in essentially King and Woods in Hong Kong, the framework provides more detail in nearly 300 pages. It's a 300-page document on regulations for the Hong Kong space and a 30-page consultation document. He explained with an example, essentially, that the proposed definition of a stablecoin is future-proof and comprehensive. According to him, it encompasses stablecoins that operate on a distributed ledger, as well as those that operate on a comparable information repository. In order to fulfill its obligations, a licensed issuer must possess a sufficient financial resource and liquid assets, in addition to comprehensive risk management and strategies for them to give them a license. For stablecoin issuers, so like Ripple introducing a stablecoin, they need to get the correct license, which they will 100%. Tether is the issue of licensing. For instance, the minimum paid up capital is equivalent of $3.2 million, which is 25 million Hong Kong dollars. The co-founder of IDA, a Hong Kong-based Web3 digital asset company, believes that legal frameworks will provide major opportunities. He said stablecoins can provide cost-effective and efficient cross-border transactions, offering businesses 24/7 digital payment services. Lawrence also further stated that the integration of Hong Kong dollar-backed stablecoins into the financial system will enhance the city's reputation as an international digital asset hub and facilitate cross-border trade. Their aim is that the globe explores transactions of Web3 ecosystems and will be more usage and larger transactions completed or paid with other stablecoins as the result. Hong Kong essentially regulators are concerned about potential dangers to financial systems and stabilities, and Hong Kong has also marked as one of the first countries to regulate stablecoin issuers following initiatives by the European Union and Japan. Singapore and the United Kingdom and aim developing regulations, whilst the United States is currently in restricted places, but not anymore. So Hong Kong coming out with a massive document. 300 pages is the document, 30-page consultation page document for Hong Kong to finally establish itself as a capital of cryptocurrencies. So it's not just stablecoin regulations they're coming up with, but they want to actually become a capital of cryptocurrencies, a hub for cryptocurrencies is what Hong Kong wants to become. And that's amazing because every country is now aiming for that. Because of Trump, they're moving faster. Hong Kong has been saying for the longest time they want to become pro-crypto, they want to become a capital hub. But they've been moving a bit sluggish on their rules. Not anymore. 18th of December, Hong Kong is going to be having a full-on, blow-on meeting discussing their 300-page document that they've been getting ready and their 30-page document, and they're going to go through it and sign it. Incredible. Honestly, Hong Kong becoming capital hub of cryptocurrencies, the Dubai becoming capital hub of cryptocurrencies, Singapore becoming capital of cryptocurrencies, Tokyo becoming capital hub of cryptocurrencies, the EU wants to become the capital of cryptocurrencies, London essentially wants to become a capital of cryptocurrencies. The world is following. Latin American countries want to become a capital of cryptocurrencies, and America, the biggest market space in the planet, is about to become the hub of cryptocurrencies. 2025 is going to be incredible. Absolutely incredible. The amount of money that's going to be flowing inside the market space is going to be ridiculous. Now, BlackRock is what we're going to be talking about next. BlackRock publishes an outlook report for 2025. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. She pumped. Yep, I read that. Which cold wallet would you recommend for ISO 20 and BTC? In general, a cold wallet that I would, say to go for would be Tangem. Ledger's great as well, but Tangem is easier for new users inside the crypto space, is what I would say. Tangem has a much more simpler UI, which means it's easier for you to use and interact with to store your crypto assets rather than Ledger. And it's not because I'm being biased in any sort of a way either, because I am sponsored by Tangem. So if you do use the code CryptoMiles in capitals, you get your Tangem wallet 10 to 20% off and discounts. So you get 20% discounts if you use the word CryptoMiles on Tangem. So I am sponsored by them, but they are incredibly safe wallets and also incredible easy wallet to use as well, beginners inside the crypto space, without a doubt. Share the live, folks. Let's go, Scott. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. So, BlackRock. BlackRock publishes an outlook report for 2025. Here's what they think about Bitcoin's future in 2025. This is BlackRock's report. It came out today. BlackRock points to Bitcoin's potential as a transformative and diversifying asset in its 2025 Global Outlook report, which its fixed supply and growing demand driven by rising investor confidence and adoption as a payment technologies. Bitcoin is positioned as a unique addition to investment portfolios by offering low correlation to traditional risk assets such as stocks and bonds, according to the report. The report notes that the Bitcoin's value is driven by different essentially factors, including its limited supply and its potential for widespread adoption. BlackRock says Bitcoin's potential as a new diversifier stems from its unique value drivers. The potential to appreciate over time as essentially primitive supply is met by increasing demands, and demands is driven by investors' beliefs in Bitcoin's potential for wider adoption. The asset manager also points to Bitcoin's resilience as a potential buffer in essentially increasing volatile market environments. As correlations between stocks and bonds weakens, traditional safe havens like gold and emerging assets like Bitcoin could fulfill the gap left by government bonds. And that becomes as self-effective as the hedge against essentially stocks sell off. And Bitcoin's also historically low correlation equity markets increase its appeals and diversifiers, but its risk returns profile could change the wider adoption. According to BlackRock, the reports highlight the risk and return profile of Bitcoin will change if it becomes widely adapted. At that point, it may be more suitable as a tactical hedge against certain risk like gold. So BlackRock does see a massive future in Bitcoin moving forward. According to the 2025 the new report that came out on what the future is in 2025, they're seeing it as essentially a hedge against traditional assets, and that Bitcoin and gold are going to be alongside each other in terms of a risk off asset. Again, not payments, because it's not a great idea for payments, but that's what their perception is. And on a slightly different perspective, an ex-Goldman CEO has came out with this opinion. Former Goldman Sachs, essentially CEO Lloyd Blankfein, recently highlighted the emerging competitive dynamics between Bitcoin and the US dollars as a global reserve currency. This marks a significant essential evolution from his prior skepticism about digital assets, suggesting that Bitcoin's growth may challenge America's enduring monetary dominance. His remarks comes in the coming weeks of the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's proposal for a strict Bitcoin reserve. He stated Trump's currently emphasized the importance of protecting essentially the dollar's unique status as a world reserve currency. It's crucial for the U.S. trade-efficient financing and geopolitical strategies. So why is the new administration promoting Bitcoin? Well, the countering essentially John Heffer and from Swan's private client services speculated that both currencies could coexist. Bitcoin could coexist alongside essentially the bonds and the stock markets and so on. He stated that the US dollars and treasuries will likely remain the leading global reserve. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's market and adoption can grow. Plus, why do governments hold gold reserves? Matthew Pines from the Bitcoin Policy Institution essentially concerned, arguing that Bitcoin aligns with US geoeconomics priorities, helping counter Chinese digital strategies and supporting the Treasury's dollar ecosystem. Meanwhile, Lightspark CEO David downplayed Bitcoin as a threat to the dollar's dominance. He explained that Bitcoin won't rival the dollar for everyday transactions. It's akin to digital dollars and offering higher essential utility and serving as a neutral settlement medium among systems. Bitcoin could strengthen the US dollar. Eric Weiss of Bitcoin investment groups essentially agreed with Marcus, asserting that Bitcoin supports and spreads the US dollar globally. They are essentially synergetic between themselves. Recent insights also aligns with his evolving views on cryptocurrencies. He questioned Bitcoin's reliability as a store of value and argued that regulatory scrutiny, remarking while skeptical and programmatic, I want to stake in it now. By January 2022, Blankfein also acknowledged Bitcoin's maturing ecosystem on the CNBC, noting, my perspective is changing and predicting that the market is key and crypto is maturing undeniably. it's great that he ended it with essentially with the market is changing undeniably. The crypto space is without a doubt maturing a lot from what it used to be, just a place for hedge funds and pump and dumps. We're going to essentially losing regulations. We have a massive ETF space, banks and crypto assets getting involved 24/7. There's contracts being made, there's regulations being made. There's a lot of things happening. The crypto space is without a doubt maturing. Beautiful words used. And maturing means more money into the market space as well. Understand that part as well. Just a key part. But that was a perspective, not just from Goldman Sachs' ex-CEO, but a few perspectives around the world on that basis. Now, moving away from Goldman Sachs perspective, X perspective, and BlackRock's perspective, and putting those two on the side. Now we're going to be talking about BRICS, mainly India. Now, you see, as I said previously, in 2023, I said that BRICS will fall apart. But I did say it's like a musical chairs game, where I said it's musical chairs and there's a chair in the middle, and it's the US going around the chair, is the analogy that I used. I said it's a chair in the middle, musical chairs, the US is going around it, China's going around it, Russia's going around it. And I said when the music stops, somebody has to sit on that seat. And when the music stopped, the US was the one sitting on that seat as the powerhouse. Why? Trump. If OnlyFans Kamala Harris won as the president of the United States, America would not be sitting in that seat. China would be sitting in that seat. But thank God Trump won, because America's sitting in that seat right now. Which means everybody's scared. A collective of countries coming together and using their currencies together. It was about China pushing themselves higher than the US. BRICS was never about countries coming together. It was China goes in control and US loses control. And that plan has failed badly, miserably. For example, India. India was very brave, very brave. So was Russia before the elections. India and Russia were very brave before the elections. They were coming out and saying, we're going to do, we're going to de-dollarize. India is a part of the G20 summit, G20 country. It was a part of the summits that was happening where the G20 countries were arriving. The US was alongside them and so on. And on one side, they're with the US, but the other side, they were de-dollarizing with the BRICS countries. Well, now they're scared. Same as Russia. India folds on the de-dollarization agenda and could fail the BRICS currency. Apparently, India is so scared, they're thinking about maybe even dropping behind from the whole BRICS idea. And I've said this previously as well. BRICS happens or BRICS doesn't happen. XRP is still good because every country will still have a CBDC. Because some people think if BRICS doesn't happen, then XRP's price point is affected. It isn't. If BRICS happens or if BRICS doesn't happen, they're still going to benefit. XRP is still going to benefit because all of these countries, India, Russia, Brazil, South Africa, and China, and so on, they all have CBDCs. They're editing your sound. Really bad sound. Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Miles. Keep cutting out. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Your sound is good. It's because Funky Brother Troy was saying your sound, they are editing your sound. Funky Brother said, really bad sound. Can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. My sound is good. Something is wrong with the audio. The sound is going off. The sound is going off and on. Sound is okay. Yes, 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 yes. On YouTube, yes. No, yes. Okay, the majority is yes. Sound is okay here. Yes, on YouTube. Okay, if it's cutting on and off, it will come back. In and out. We can hear you, yes. Yes. Maybe the Russians are trying to cut my sound off. Just joking. No sound still. No sound problem here. Loud and clear. Let's go. Okay. Everyone gave me. So, as I was saying, India is so scared they're leaving BRICS. So here it is. The Reserve Bank of India, Governor Das, has announced that India is not pursuing a de-dollarization policy. India went from de-dollarization to now coming out and saying, who said we're de-dollarizing? We're not de-dollarizing. There's no de-dollarizing policy. They're not pursuing a de-dollarizing policy now. He also emphasized that no concrete decision has been made regarding the creation of a common BRICS currencies. Well, that's a load of BS, because at the last BRICS summit, the last BRICS summit that happened, they issued a BRICS currency, essentially, not just the fiat money as a joke, but they issued essentially currency cards for everybody to use as payments in the BRICS summit. But they went from de-dollarizations to local currencies, China's yuan, to now saying, who said we're doing de-dollarization? We're not doing de-dollarization. That's not us. As Forbes reported, India's central bank head has confirmed that de-dollarization is not a part of the country's objectives under the BRICS group. De-dollarization is, this is the best part. It's not just India that's scared about the whole de-dollarization and BRICS. India is essentially, as Forbes reported, India's central bank head has confirmed that de-dollarization is not a part of the country's objectives under BRICS group. BRICS was all about de-dollarization, but apparently BRICS is not about de-dollarization anymore. And you know why? You know why India is scared and Russia is scared about BRICS now? Das remarks comes in the wake of a sharp criticism from the former US President Donald Trump, who threatened to impose a 100% tariff on BRICS nations if they attempted to replace the dollar in international trade. So everybody's scared of Trump, which is good. During a press briefing, Das addressed questions on India's stance, clarifying that the country has only sought local currency trade agreements to mitigate risk associated with reliance on a single currency. Dependency on one currency can be problematic at times because of appreciation or depreciation. That's explained, but stressed that India's actions are aimed at diversification, not de-dollarization. He noted that one of the group's members introduced the concept of a BRICS currency, but no progress has been made. The geographical spread of the countries is also kept in mind. Unlike the Eurozone, which has geographically essentially contingents, India's caution stance on de-dollarization and the BRICS currency initiatives raises questions about the bloc's long-term unity and vision. The country's corporations is especially pivotal to the BRICS frameworks, particularly for Russia and China, as it serves as a bridge between diverse geopolitical and economic interests. India has played both sides for the longest time. India has been playing both sides of the markets. India buys oil from Russia and sells it back to Europe more expensive. India's been playing the middleman from the whole war scenarios that are going on. They're making bank. India's making so much money from Russia's side because they're buying cheap oil from essentially Russia, cheap agricultural products, and cheap gas from Russia, and they're selling it back to the Europeans, which is stupid. That's the only reason that gas essentially and petrol is expensive. That's the only reason. Because we can directly get it from Russia, but we don't talk to Russia. So we buy from India, and India buys it from Russia. And we're paying more price. And because India's playing both sides, that's going to stop. India and Russia have formed a strong ties in sectors like energy and defense, with $68 billion in commerce, mostly from cheaper imports of Russian petroleum. The potential for economic cooperations is evident in strict initiatives like the Trinity and the corridors and the national north and south transport corridors. However, India's programmatic approaches, balancing relationships with both the West and Russia, adds complexity, especially in the ongoing global tensions. China and India, as the largest BRICS economies, also stand to benefit from their cooperations within the bloc. However, their partnership is nuanced by tensions from underlying geopolitical challenges. BRICS, originally essentially comprising from Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, expanded last year to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE. The move was not supported by India, which believes the bloc needs time to adjust to new members, which is a load of crap because India was very happy before, but now they're sad. You see, BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, already 2 days ago, Russia was the first one to say, if the sanctions are lifted and the war stops between Ukraine and Russia, Putin will no longer go forward with the whole de-dollarization project. They will still create a Russian CBDC, retail and wholesale CBDC, but no longer going against America is what the plan is. So already, one of the founding members of BRICS a few days ago, Putin, decided to back out of BRICS. If the war stops between Ukraine and Russia and the sanctions are lifted, and Russia can start doing business with everyone again. The second country that's thinking about, the whole stopping the de-dollarization is India now. So Russia is out pretty much out of BRICS. India is out pretty much out of BRICS. If it continues like this, it will only be China left. And China's plan failed for world domination. China was going to go for world domination through BRICS. And it's failing. Because of who? Trump. Thank God Trump won. As also its most recent summits in Kazan, Russia's BRICS leaders unveiled a symbolic banknote signaling support for the use of local currencies and trade agreements. Still, the notions of common trade currencies remains highly essentially contagious. And earlier this year, Brazilian President Luiz advocated for a BRICS currency to challenge the dollar's dominance, which is true. The Brazilian essentially president did say BRICS is about going against the US dollars. But according to India's central bank governor today, it's not about going against the US dollars. Who said that? Everybody's scared. In BRICS, everybody's getting scared. First, Putin got scared. Now India is scared, and everybody else will get scared also. China is also getting a little bit scared too. However, critics, including the Reserve Bank of India's governor, Das, have pointed out to the complexities of creating such a currency across geographically and economically diverse blocks. India has realized that they can't play both sides. It's choose one and stick to it. There is no chance that the BRICS will ever replace the US dollars in international trade, is what India is saying now. Before, India was de-dollarization. Now, there is no chance. This is the governor's own words. The central bank governor's India's own words. Bank governor, central bank. There is no chance that the BRICS will replace the US dollar in international trade. No chance that anything will replace the US dollars, is what they're saying now. And any country that tries should wave goodbye to America. They're basically repeating Trump's words. Because that was the exact words Trump used. While the BRICS bloc is not currently planning a common currency, economists and authors Jim Rickards also argued that there are already shares of a de facto factory. Gold, according to Richards, BRICS countries rely on national currencies like the yuan and the ruble for trade, but use gold for periodic settlements and to balance accounts. Richard described Trump's tariff threats, essentially tariff threats, as more of a warning than a reaction to an immediate threat. He suggested that if things were to change, essentially if things were in charge of the US Treasury, it would prioritize purchasing gold to compete essentially with efforts of BRICS nations, effectively permitting the chances of relying on gold based on trade systems. So, that theory that, and then there was one. Russia, pretty much out of BRICS. Russia's getting to a stage they're going to exit BRICS. India is getting to a stage where they're going to exit BRICS. The rest will follow. And then that old saying, which was, and then there was one, China. Their plan for global domination. It's never going to happen. And that's great news. And as I've said previously, some people assume the BRICS nations was good for XRP, or if it wasn't, whatever. Look, if BRICS happens or if BRICS doesn't happen, either way, XRP is good, because Russia will still have its RUB CBDC, China still has its Yuan CBDC, Brazil still has its BRICS CBDC, India still has its CBDC as well, which is on the XRP ledger, by the way. But these countries will still have their CBDCs no matter what, which XRP is good on that basis. XRP ledger is good, in other words, essentially for a CBDC platform. So if BRICS happens or it doesn't happen, XRP is still good. But not happening is better on the basis of political basis, because China should not be in control. Hell no. That's the worst thing that could have possibly happened. China being in control. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Biden administration, honestly, the Biden administration seemed like they were paid off by the Chinese government, because the way the Biden administration were acting towards America, they were anti-American. In my point of view, for the longest time, the Biden administration just seemed like anti-America. They wanted to see America fail on purpose. They wanted to see the BRICS nations climbing the ladder. They wanted to see China, go for world domination. It almost seemed like the Biden administration was being paid off by the Chinese government. But those plans failed, because Trump is back in power and everybody's thinking about leaving BRICS, which I did say that's going to happen. Which cold wallet would you recommend? Or is that the one? Let's see where I was. Let's go inside the comment section before I give you the next news, which is regarding Ripple. Ironically, we're talking about XRP Ledger and XRP and CBDCs. The next news is Ripple news. But let's see where we were at inside the comment section before we go to the Ripple news. We were at here. Quant is skyrocketing right now. Let's go, Choser. CMF. When is the 60-minute interview? That's what we're going to talk about next, actually. That's exactly what we're going to talk about next. We're going to run Ripple's 60-minute interview. What they're going to talk about. Hello, really enjoying the show. Let's go, Richard. How you doing? Easy Mouse, great content as always. Let's go, Mac. They are editing sound really bad. Okay, we were here, and then everybody said good, 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 and then it's just started doing it for me. I came in and out, and I can give you, it's fine. Cutting in and out for me now. Party time. Choppy in and out sound, in and out in Ohio, USA. Leave and come back. It worked for me. Okay, Trump keeps everyone in check. We thank God. Yes, honestly, Trump does keep everyone in check. I went out of the live and I came back in. That worked. Thanks, Comatose. Okay, that's good. Good night, Miles and CMF. Love you all. See you on the beaches of the moon. Let's go, Peg. Peg, see you tomorrow as usual. Yes, came out and back restored. Interesting. Peg, have a great day tomorrow. Mouse, I'm going through my notes from the program a few nights again. Do you mind repeating your opinion, thoughts on VRA, XPR, CPU? I don't know what the recent developments are. I need to look into them still. I don't know what the recent developments are. I don't know if there are recent contracts, if there have been any sort of recent contracts between them. So I need to still take a look into them. But Derek messaged me at Joe. Derek messaged me at Scott. I'll take a look into it. Hello, Mouse. Can you talk to us about Tether USDT? I hear that it's essentially just minting coins without backing. As a result, it inflates Bitcoin's price. It is a possibility that Tether is minting coins out of thin air and just backing it into Bitcoin and pumping the price or any sort of assets. And then also Tether is slightly under investigation again. So today, Celsius's CEO pleaded guilty. So Celsius was a crypto platform a very long time ago. And the CEO was going in and out of courts because for money laundering and unregistered securities and so many other things. And today, Celsius's CEO pleaded guilty. And because he pleaded guilty, Celsius was using money from Tether that they got from Tether. And because of that, Tether is now going to go on the investigation some sort of a way through the Celsius case, because the Celsius CEO pleaded guilty today for unregistered securities, money laundering, and so on. And Celsius was borrowing money at the time through Tether using USDT. So now Tether has been thrown into this investigation as well. And I think that's what they wanted to happen as well. But is Tether printing USDT out of thin air? Yes, highly possible, because they won't reveal what's backing it. Because the EU's rules and regulations stated that Tether needs to show that they have the reserves that they're saying, and they have to hold it in EU banks, some of it, so that, in case it can't back it, the EU can use those assets to back in case of a depegging situation and so on. And Tether rejected it. Tether does not want to be transparent at all. That's why they're not listed in the EU at all. So there's a possibility that Tether is, for the longest time, being printing out of thin air and pumping the market. Now, Ripple. Ripple's CEO unveils key date. What essentially, Miles, your audio is out of sync. I keep going in and out, but still out of sync. I don't know why that is happening, I'll be honest. I really don't know why that's happening. Go on the audio. Go in and out and see if it gets synced again. It's only today that is happening. It's weird. Can everybody else hear me? I don't know why when I got to the BRICS news, the audio decided to not work properly. Very weird. Very weird. Ripple. Ripple's CEO unveils key dates. What XRP holders need to know. The cryptocurrency landscape is set to gain significant attention with Ripple's CEO, Brad, upcoming appearance on 60 Minutes. A show renowned for its long-standing history and influence in the American television journalism, scheduled to air December 8th. So if you were wondering, essentially, when the Ripple interview is going to be coming out, when Brad's interview is going to be coming out, December 8th. This interview is expected to delve into the critical issues of regulatory clarity for the crypto industry within the United States. Brad's announcements of the interview date, formally essentially posted on X, comes at a time when Ripple and its affiliate cryptocurrency XRP are making headlines. XRP has recently seen an impressive surge, hitting a multi-year high of $2.86 on December 3rd, according to CoinMarketCap, aimed growing investor interest and market optimisms. This rally, which places the token 34% below its essentially $3.84 all-time high set in January 3rd, 2018, concedes with his broader discussions about the future of regulatory environments for cryptocurrencies inside the United States. The conversation with essentially Brad is anticipated to focus on the ongoing battles of regulatory clarity, a topic that has been essentially contagious within the SEC under the leadership of Gary Gensler, has been vocal for the potential positive impact of the crypto market should there be a change in SEC leadership, which there is now, suggesting that the Gensler exit could be beneficial for the crypto industry as a whole. The sentiment was also shared by many other co-founders in the crypto space. The 60 Minutes interview could serve as a pivotal moment for Ripple, not only by providing a platform to discuss these regulatory challenges, but also by potentially influencing public and regulatory perceptions of XRP and the broader crypto market space. Given 60 Minutes' reputation for in-depth, essentially, investigations, journalism, and its vast audience, this exposure might essentially further propel XRP's visibility and credibility inside the market space because of this interview. This episode adds to the show's legacy, which has been broadcasted since 1968 and has covered a myriad of significant topics now extending into complex world of digital currencies. This discussion could shed light on how Ripple navigates the regulatory landscape, its strategies for growth, and its vision for the future of finance. potentially impacting investor sentiments and regulatory attitudes towards cryptocurrencies inside the United States. So, Ripple's essentially interview, 60 minutes. If Brad is coming out and talking about essentially XRP's future and XRP's movements and what we could potentially, XRP can do for the financial space, yeah, the market's going to react in a very good, positive way. The more Brad talks about XRP's future points of views regarding the banking systems, regarding regulations, and so on, the more the market should be reacting in a positive way. Honestly, this interview is going to be incredible. It's going to put so many eyes on essentially Ripple. On the other hand, if they don't talk too much regarding XRP's future points and so on, the market will react in a different way. So, look, either way, what I can say is that Ripple's future is still going to be incredibly amazing. And this interview comes out and it's the way I'm hoping it's supposed to go. Excellent. The market will react in a very positive way. It's going to put a lot of eyes on XRP because a lot of people watch this show, the 60-minute show. A lot of eyes are going to go on XRP. People who don't know what XRP is, people who know what XRP is but might get enticed to go further and further. A lot of institutions and Wall Street heads and so on, everybody's going to watch this. So all eyes on XRP, December 8th. As I said previously, if you're holding XRP, your future looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. We've also reached the endings of tonight's live. All good things must come to an end, which they have now. And on tonight's live, we talked about essentially Ripple's CEO, December 8th, 60-minute coming up. We also went through news topics regarding India in terms of backing out of BRICS because of Trump. We also talked about Bitcoin essentially in terms of a perspective coming from ex-Goldman Sachs member. We talked about BlackRock publishing their new 2025 report. We went through the report from BlackRock. We also talked about essentially on tonight's live regarding Hong Kong stablecoin regulations and China's regulations when it comes to crypto assets. We talked about the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK in terms of essentially banning meme coins. We talked about the US ETF space in terms of US corporations holding more Bitcoin collectively together than essentially Satoshi Nakamoto. We talked about essentially a European country coming forward in terms of taxations of cryptocurrencies and a perception we could probably see the EU going towards. We also talked about the Coinbase's Paul CLO essentially talking about how the FDIC chairman has been stifling cryptocurrencies, and it's not a myth inside the crypto space that have been holding back certain crypto assets. We also talked about on tonight's live regarding a US SEC not looking into any ETFs. They essentially rejected 2 Solana ETFs. We also talked about the news topics of two senior Federal Reserve members, officials coming out on their perspectives on the market space moving forward. And we talked about the US jobs data from Grayscale, the report that came out today. We also went for the news topics on tonight's live regarding Florida, Bitcoin as a quarter-one essentially asset for Bitcoin reserves. And we also talked about Michael Saylor's new perspective on the market space moving forward. We also went for the news topics of Trump's BTC reserve plans. So we talked about a multitude of essentially crypto asset news, regulations, politics, everything. This was the CMF Live. If you watch this for the first time ever, it stands for Crypto Mouse Family. My name is Miles. I go by the persona of Crypto Mouse. And on this live, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world, completely transformed into a digital space. And the disclaimer of this live has always been not financial advice, not political advice, and what advice is only for entertainment purposes. So we've also, regarding the ending of tonight's live, this live is Monday to Friday, and today is Friday, which means the next episode of this live is going to be Monday. So see everybody on Monday for the next episode. Episode 219. Right now we're on episode 218, which is incredible. We're on episode 218. But I'll see everybody on episode 219 on Monday. So everybody enjoy your weekend. I'll see everybody on the weekdays. Here's okay, mine. Let's go. Amazing live. Let's go, Woodhouse. Thanks so much for the kind words, brother. See you Monday. Can't wait, Miles. Just another positive for XRP. It's all bullish. Let's go, Shelly. Shelly, see you Monday as well. Miles, can you explain about your blockchain company, please? Mickey, I will. CoinMove essentially is a platform for real estate and automotive industries. It's an easier platform for you to, essentially purchase a house, mortgage a house, or get a loan, or buy a vehicle, or rent out a vehicle. You can also book your travels through CoinMove as well. There's so many things to it. What I would say, Mickey, is direct message me, Mickey, or go to coinmove.one. If you want to check out my blockchain startup company, go to coinmove.one. All the information will be there. Coinmove.one. Or if you just type in Google CoinMove, the first website on Google is my blockchain startup company. Just type in CoinMove, M-O-V-E. So Coin, M-O-V-E, move. Type it in Google. First website on Google is my company. Thanks for amazing live, brother. Let's go count. See you Monday, same time as usual. Great info as always. Thanks, Miles. Good night, family. Comatose. See you Monday, same time as usual. Good night, CMF. Thanks, Miles. Orphan. See you Monday, same time as usual. Thanks, Legend. Much appreciated. Hope everyone's had a good day and night, CMF. Let's go, Shelly. Fabulous, brilliant live. As always, Miles. Night, CMF. Joe. See you Monday, same time as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. See you Monday night. Once again, I cannot say it enough. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for the kind words. See you Monday, same time as usual. Thanks, Miles. Good night, everyone. Ghost Runner. See you Monday, same time as usual. Check, please, our DMs. No long text this time. It's a quick question. Come on, I'll check the DMs. No problem. See you Monday, same time as usual. Miles, Nia TV. How you doing? Peace. Let's go, Tony. Tony, see you Monday, same time as usual. Thanks, Miles, and good night, CMF. Stormy, see you Monday, same time as usual. Good night, Miles and CM and great and family. Great live. Many thanks. See you tomorrow. Ian, see you Monday, same time as usual. Miles, thank you for all you do for us. Good night, everyone. Troy, see you tomorrow, sometimes. See you Monday, same time as usual. Instagram? Yes, I do have an Instagram. CM Founder. It's the same name I have on X. CM Founder. Malaysia today is Saturday. See you Monday, same time as usual. Have a great weekend, everyone. Let's go, Ian. See you Monday, same time as usual. It's been a while. Okay, see you Monday. Can't wait to use CoinMove. Let's go, Zach. See you Monday, same time as usual. XRP is moving. I haven't checked mine because I switched cell phones. I haven't been focused, and I looked and I've seen it grow. So I have to be back in tune with crypto now. Let's go, Nia TV. See you on Monday, same time as usual. 11:25 p.m. Thanks, Miles. Scott, see you Monday, same time as usual. Thanks, Miles. Share live. Respect, Miles. Max, see you Monday, same time as usual. Scott, see you Monday, same time as usual. Thanks, Shigeru. See you Monday, same time as usual. I'll see everybody Monday, same timing as usual, 11:25 p.m. Everybody have a great day or great night, or essentially a great weekend. I'll see everybody on the weekdays, Monday, 11:25 p.m. UK time again, Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. See everybody, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. See everyone. Good stuff, Miles. Excited about the 60 minutes. Should help us have a great night. Oh, let's go, Semper. Nice one, Miles. Champ. Let's go, Zach. See you Monday. Sorry, Miles, met Monday. No problem. Ian, 2026. I'm getting you a bottle of Louis. Let's go, Mac. Okay, we'll do. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. See you Monday, Nina. And Miles, DM, Scott. I'll check it out. See everyone. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. See everyone back on Monday, 11:25 p.m. UK time.